Welcome to the Australian Business Executive Podcast, where we speak with Australia's most influential industry professionals on the business and economic development issues taking place across the country. You can stay up to date with all our content, including our magazines, podcasts and videos by visiting www.theabe.com.au and clicking on subscribe.
Today's guest is Brisan Motorcycles Newcastle Managing Director Clint Davis. Clint, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Jess.
So give us an overview of the Brisan Motorcycles business.
Brisan Motorcycles is a retail motorcycle, power sports and scooter dealer. We are based in the Hunter Valley, Newcastle area in New South Wales, and representing a number of motorcycle brands and power sport products.
Okay, great. And how did you get involved in the dealership? Just before we turn on the recording, there seems to be some news around a restructure in the business as well.
Yeah, so the business has been operating now for 35 years. Over the last 15 years under the same ownership, which was a partnership between my father and I. And recently we've had a restructure of the business, and my father Ray has resigned as a director and shareholder, and I've now got taken full control of operations.
Okay. Take us through the products and the offering that you have within the dealership.
It's quite a wide range of products. We're a rural-based dealership. I guess you call it semi-metro, semi-rural, based in Newcastle, in the heart of Newcastle, really. We have mainly focused historically on the road bike range, with products such as BMW, Triumph. More recently, picked up brands such as Kawasaki, Suzuki, and have been expanding our product offering with partnerships with brands such as Indian and quite a number of scooter brands like Vespa, Piaggio, and Sim scooters. We also have some cruiser products such as Indian, and then some other European brands as well.
Okay. From a customer perspective, what do you think is your key difference compared to, other motorcycle dealerships in the area?
We really try and be the one-stop shop with our product offerings. So, we like to use the term, if you can't find a motorcycle in this dealership, then motorcycling isn't for you. We've got road products, adventure products, off-road, power sports products such as the Polaris range of off-road vehicles, and also scooters for the more commuting type metropolitan rider who's looking for a commuter product to get around town.
You had mentioned that I guess you do more sort of rural vehicles, and now they're turning into metro vehicles. What does that mean for areas like parts, accessories, and servicing? Are people modifying a lot of their vehicles?
We certainly see that in the cruiser and adventure touring side of motorcycling. Customers are looking to ride those vehicles for longer periods or longer rides. So often accessorize the vehicles, and those type of brands such as BMW and Triumph and Indian, they do a lot of those customers do ride their bikes for a longer distance and do more kilometres per year than the average rider. So they're often accessorising their bikes plus their rider wear in regards to being fully equipped for that long haul ride. So we certainly see a lot of business in those products, and then also as you've mentioned, the off-road vehicles such as Polaris, very wide range of off-road side-by-side vehicles for rural and recreational, and the customers are always looking to bolt on added accessories and options onto those vehicles for more appropriate use within the terrain and operating conditions that they're using them for.
And you guys recently, I can't remember when we were talking about this, you've increased the size of your showroom as well, and you effectively service a much larger area now, don't you?
Yeah, so the business, when we took over the business 15 years ago, was a much smaller operation. We had 8 staff at that time, and I think the first year of business back in 2006, we retailed 212 new and used motorcycles. Since then, we've grown the business by mainly brand acquisitions and by business acquisitions, and amalgamated a lot of those brands into a new facility. So we're now in we've moved from a 600 square metre facility a few years ago, and now in a 2,500 square metre facility with 13 brands under that roof, and now have 35 full-time staff working in the business. This current financial year, we've gone from, I guess, back in 2006, selling 212 motorcycles to this year selling over 1,500 motorcycles in the financial year.
Yeah, right. And so what are some of the, industry issues and trends within this, motorcycle environment?
Over the last 15 years, we've seen a couple of trends. One was obviously the effect of the GFC on the motorcycle industry that had an effect on all retail, but especially high-end discretionary spend products like the sector we play in. We recently, from 2017 to 2019, the industry had a fairly tough run for a few years. The market was down 30% over that period, and a lot of discussions in regards to the tightening of discretionary spend for customers, with house prices going up, wage growth fairly stagnant, and cost of living increasing as well. So that took its toll on the industry for a few years. But post that, throughout 2020 and 21, we've been one of the fortunate industries to have benefited off the back of COVID-19. Much like some of the other industries, being caravan, camping, boating, four-wheel driving, all those outdoor activities have seen growth in their industry, and we're fortunate to be one of those as well.
Interesting. I think initially when we originally spoke as well, you had said that there's quite a substantial amount of growth of wives or partners coming in, and they're doing a together buy between a husband and wife or partner these days.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a real swing in the trend. Historically, go back 2 years ago, I guess before COVID-19, the amount of times we'd see a husband and wife or couple come in looking to buy a motorcycle together, and that be 2 motorcycles, one each. I could probably count them on one hand over the previous 12 years or 13 years of operations, but we've seen a huge swing in that, I guess, entry-level customer into the dealership. So husband and wife, partners coming in to the dealership, and have both recently acquired their learner rider license, and are looking to both begin riding together. So that's been really nice to see that there's a I guess a desire for people to share riding and motorcycling together, and we hope that trend continues.
And I think as well, when we originally spoke, you talked about how sports touring vehicles, there's been a bit of a decline, along with a rise of adventure bikes. Do you want to just, I guess, briefly describe the difference between the two, and talk a little bit about some of those buying trends that's driving these habits these days?
Yeah, so the sports touring market used to be one of the biggest sectors in the industry, and over the last, I guess, 5 to 7 years, we've seen a huge swing in those customers that were historically, doing long rides and with couples or groups would be on sports touring motorcycles, and that's changed dramatically to a customer base now where the majority of that long adventure or long touring riding is being done on adventure bikes. So I think as people look to get off the beaten track, explore, this beautiful country of ours, they're looking for an adventure bike which enables them to take, that dirt road, that fire trail, get away from the cities and the hustle and bustle, and really experience what motorcycling's about.
All right. Well, Clint, before we finish today, is there anything else you haven't had the chance to address or might like to speak about?
No, it's just we're in a really interesting period of operations. Our business and the industry is still doing really strong. Our numbers to the end of June 2021 for national numbers are another 26% up on last year, and we just hope things keep firing like they do moving forward, and the whole industry stays positive and buoyant.
Excellent. Well, Clint, thanks very much for your time today.
Thanks, Jess.
This has been a production of the Australian Business Executive, a division of Romulus Rising Proprietary Limited. All rights reserved. You can stay up to date with the Australian Business Executive, including our magazines, podcasts and videos, by visiting www.theabe.com.au and clicking on subscribe.